So students, we are going to start with the chapter of locomotion. So what is locomotion if I ask you? Basically the movement of an organism from one place to the another in search of food, shelter, okay, and for reproduction. Then that process it is called locomotion. But plants, they do not show locomotion, they show the movement. Always keep in mind that animals shows movement and locomotion both, but plant they show only movement. So what are the characteristics of this locomotion we are going to see? So the first, if you all see here, the first characteristics in your book, it is given here: to acquire the food. Naturally we move, the animals move from one place to another, okay, to acquire the food. If they don't move, naturally they are not going to get the food. Next is the shelter. So apart from the food you require what? Shelter. So it is said here that in order to live a normal life, okay, and to perform all the activities of the life, a suitable shelter is necessary for all the animal kingdom. Thus animals have to move from one place to another for shelter, okay. Next is avoiding capture by the predator. A very common example is as predator and prey. Naturally, if a deer is going to be hunted by a tiger, naturally the deer has to run to save its life, and naturally the tiger has to prey upon deer to get the food. So that is also one of the process. Next, for dispersion of seeds, okay, or you can say also by locomotion animals may be dispersed from one particular area to another particular place. So dispersal, you always see that different animals found in the different places of the world. How? Because of this dispersion, okay. Next, it is said the search of new and favorable habitat and environment. Naturally, if the environment is not favorable or if the habitat is not favorable, the animal has to move. The very good example is of the migratory bird. You all see that migratory bird coming to India from different places of the world, okay, basically the cold places, and they travel miles and miles of kilometer and then reach to the India. And when their conditions become unfavorable for them to live in India, then they migrate to their own places. So that is also one of the example. Next is to bring together individual for reproduction. So as I told you that for reproduction also the migration, the locomotion is necessary, okay. Next we are going to see the different types of locomotion in different types of animal and class this. In case the locomotion in case of the amoeba with diagram, it is very important, the Sol-Gel theory, okay. So first thing we are going to see, if they ask you the Sol-Gel theory, then you have to give this diagram up and along with this description. So it is said here that amoeba shows amoeboid locomotion and with this locomotory organ. So you all know that the amoeba, the locomotory organ of the amoeba is this finger-like projection, okay. This is called pseudopodia, and this pseudopodia, they are temporary projection. Naturally when they are moving from one place to another, this finger like projection has to change its structure each and every time when it is moving forward. So this is not a permanent structure but a temporary structure, and it consists of two parts, okay. So we will see here what are the two parts. It is written here, okay. So it is said here that the amoeba, there is a denser peripheral part, okay. So you all can see that there is a denser. Naturally if you are moving, then the legs has to be strong. So here also this pseudopodia has to be strong or has to be dense, okay. So the denser part, it is called periplasma gel or the ectoplasm, okay. And the inner part, this is called the endoplasm, or what is the other name of it? It is called the central plasma sol, okay. So as I told you that when the amoeba has to move, this pseudopodia has to be stiff. So it is said here that the plasma gel is denser due to the presence of more protein, and these are made up of what? Protein. So the gel that is present on the periphery, it is more protein than the plasma sol. So inside it is called plasma sol and outside it is called plasma gel. But during the formation of the pseudopodia, what happens? This plasma gel, okay, is converted to plasma sol. Suppose it has moved forward, now the new projection has to be required. If it is stiff, then it cannot form new projection. So when it goes to a new projection, or when it goes to the new position, this plasma, okay, plasma gel, which is a denser part, it becomes plasma sol and it becomes liquidy. So vice versa, the conversion takes place. One, the plasma gel is converted into plasma sol and the plasma sol is converted into plasma gel to form this amoeboid movement, to make this amoeboid movement possible, okay. And this process, it is called sol gel theory, okay. So it is basically asked that what is sol gel theory, class. Next we are going to see, so you all can see here the diagram, it is given here, that how the process of locomotion in amoeba takes place. Suppose this is a amoeba, it is moving here. So when it is moving here, okay, you all know the plasma gel, it is the denser part and it is much more dense than that of the, now when it has moved there, so it requires what, leg stiff projection, then the plasma gel, it is very thick. Now it has to change the direction. When it has changed to the direction, the plasma gel which is present outside and which is much more denser automatically converts into plasma sol, because if it is liquid, then only this projection can be changed. So as soon as the direction of the pseudopodia is changed, this plasma sol again converts into plasma cell. So this is a vice versa conversion. You all should remember this, okay. Now we are going to see the ciliary locomotion of paramecium. You all know that the paramecium, they are covered by hair-like structure, a fine hair-like structure, that are called what, cilia, okay. So by the movement of the cilia, okay, the beating of the cilia makes the movement of this paramecium possible. So it is written here, the cilia is attached with the basal granules, and each cilia, okay, below the cilia there are small granulars like structure. Like in our hair, we have the hair follicles to which our hair is attached. Similarly, the cilia is attached with these basal granules, okay. Naturally, it is said here, in the body of the paramecium moves with the help of the synchronous beating of the cilia. So when the cilia beats, the paramecium moves forward, okay. Now we are going to see the flagellar movement in euglena. You all know, see, this is the euglena and this is the paramecium. The paramecium is covered with hair-like projection called the cilia, and the beating of the cilia makes the paramecium move. Now euglena, you always see it is having a whip-like structure. This whip-like structure or the tail-like structure, this is called flagella, okay. So it is said here that euglena is unicellular. Protist, the body is green in color. You all know that the body of the euglena, it is green in color and it can prepare its food. Euglena contains a pair of flagella, one long and one short. Flagella is whip-like structure connected with the basal granule. Always keep in mind the flagella and the cilia. If you all can see in the picture here also, you all can see here the round structure is present, and this is called the basal body to which the flagella or the cilia are being attached, okay. So euglena swim. Naturally, it is an aquatic protist. So euglena swim from one place to another with the help of this flagella. In the next class, we will continue with the swimming of the fish. Thank you, class.